I want to know what the worst American sports team is. Across all sports, who is the most ass? Let's find out together, shall we?
There are 124 teams that collectively make up the Big Four American sports leagues.
Jesus.
Among MLB, the NBA, the NFL, and the NHL.
No way we're counting hockey. Is hockey really number 4? I guess what else would it be? Soccer's not big. Hockey over soccer? Yeah, I guess I'm kind of surprised. Hockey has always felt so niche to me. NASCAR? I have a feeling NASCAR's dying. I think NASCAR is a 90s thing. I think that's going out of style.
Certain franchises have experienced multiple championships, winning records, and Hall of Fame players that have marked their teams as being some of the greatest in American sports.
Right.
This makes for an interesting question about which team could be considered the best out of all of them.
Not the Yankees? What about the Chicago Bulls?
It's a fun discussion.
They had like a couple seasons.
But what about the other side of the coin? While some teams have been historically great, other teams have been drowning in sadness and irrelevance.
Really? The Mariners?
There are 124 teams, and one of them has to be the worst. This is my search for the worst American sports team.
I would be so scared watching this video if I owned a team, like I own Cleveland, and I'm like, oh, please not that one. Dude, what is this? This Coyotes logo, this bangs. This is awesome. I love this. Please don't say Clippers, please. Okay, to be fair, y'all shouldn't have Clippers. Aren't Clippers also Los Angeles? Yeah, what the fuck? Y'all shouldn't get 2 teams. Why y'all get 2 teams? So we get rid of the prestige
Now,
teams.
examining each team individually would be a waste of time.
Right.
Some teams have just been way too good for them to ever be considered the worst.
It's weird that the Chiefs are good now. I thought they were a meme team when I was younger. I still have a child's idea of what, like, the 49ers were good in the mid-90s. So I'm like, oh, they must be good. They still got Jerry Rice.
This means I had to shrink the number of teams down that were considered, with a rough goal of around 5 or so teams that could be argued as the worst. In order to
going
eliminate
that
some
far?
teams, there were 2 qualifications
Okay.
that I've decided on. Any team that's won multiple championships or has a win-loss record above 500
Sure.
would not be considered.
Like, all time? But could they win 1 championship? Because I feel like you could just be like, who's never won? And that would probably be like, I would probably cut it down to like a couple.
This got rid of a lot of teams. 84 of them fit into one of these 2 categories.
The Bulls logo goes so hard. That's so good.
Because as it turns out, when a team wins multiple championships, that means they're also probably winning a lot of games.
They have to.
Unless you're the Buck championships,
Wait.
that means they're
Wait, the Ravens have the best win-loss percentage? Does that mean like that year or forever? Ravens are good. Holy shit. I mean, I guess they're relatively new too, but
unless you're the Buccaneers or the Marlins, who have the worst win-loss records in their leagues, but they've each won 2 championships.
all right, yeah, I know.
Sports
Oh, look at who did it for them, by the way. All you need to do is bring this asshole in. Wow, you're the best now.
can be weird.
Dude, this is what a fucking accomplishment, by the way. Dude, this is how you know you're the best in the world, when you just take an ass team and you're like, no, we win, actually. That's crazy. That's that's embarrassing to literally every other quarterback on the planet.
This meant there were 39 teams left to be examined.
They were good beside him. Not that good.
Which was still way too many to look at individually. The next factor that I decided on was to eliminate any team that has won only 1 championship, but at least has made multiple appearances in the championship.
Okay.
This only got rid of 6 teams, so I decided to just eliminate any team that has at least won a championship, even if they've only had that 1 appearance.
Yeah.
This shrunk the number down to 28.
That's kind of shocking that 28 teams just have never won. I guess it shouldn't be.
Now, you may ask why I didn't just eliminate every championship winning team sooner. Wouldn't that criteria obviously exclude any team from
That's
being
what I
the
thought,
worst?
yeah.
And my answer to that is very simple.
This
If
sounds like
depression was a
creepypasta.
football team, it would probably manifest as the New York Jets. Their win-loss record is .437, which is the 6th worst in the league. The team has only made the playoffs 14 times, which is the 5th lowest in the NFL.
Oh.
For a team that was created in 1959, that makes this number look even worse.
Oh.
Often the Jets serve as the punching bag for the other teams in their division.
Oh my god. The Dolphins? Not the Dolphins!
And they're better known for their embarrassing moments than any sort of success.
I've never seen that before. How have I never seen
And they're
this?
better known
have I seen
for
this?
their
I feel like I would remember it.
moments than any sort of success.
How did that even in front of everybody, bro. On NBC, bro, on the national stage. Dude, imagine being, like, out here. Imagine being, like, a receiver or whatever, and where is that guy going? Why is he running?
The only real moment of success for the Jets was in Super Bowl III, in which quarterback Joe Namath guaranteed they would beat the Baltimore Colts. His guarantee held true, and they went on to win the only Super Bowl that they've appeared in.
Sheesh.
But even still, the Jets did win that Super Bowl. In order to truly find the worst sports team, I had to look way lower.
Okay. Just wait till it gets to the Hornets. I thought the Hornets were good. Didn't they have Muggsy? I thought they had Muggsy Bogues or whatever when I knew a little bit of basketball because of NBA Jam. No? He was on the... Bro, Google Images, the first fucking thing right there. Don't say anything in chat if you don't know.
All the remaining teams have not won a championship and have lost most of the games that they play. Still, some teams had to be eliminated.
Didn't the Rays
the
have
next
the
factor
unit,
that I
Randy
considered
Johnson?
was any team that has not won a championship, but has
they
at
have
the
different
very
Rays.
least made multiple appearances.
Wait, I was on the Rays in Little League one year. Now I remember I was on the Rays and we were a good team. And I think I thought I was in the MLB. That's what I'm getting mixed up. Okay. That's crazy. We went to state champs. We lost, but we went. Bro thought he was on the team. I was nice.
This got rid of some known chokers, most prominently the Buffalo Bills and the Vancouver Canucks, and shrunk the number of teams down to 19.
Stupid name.
But at this point, I was lost for what to do next. There were still 19 teams left, all of which were worthy contenders.
Okay, I'm going to say the ones that I know about the least are the worst. Wait, I thought the Cardinals had their time in the sun, right? Didn't the Cardinals have some, like, a few years ago? That new Hornets logo is ass, by the way. Go back to the other guy. I forgot the Rockies existed. I'm going to say the Rockies. I don't think it's them, but I think it's the... Wait, I thought the Chargers were good. What the fuck? Didn't they also have Kurt Warner? I know nothing about sports at all. Like, everything is like 90s sports games and nothing else.
4 factors would determine which teams I would consider for the worst. Conference championship appearances. All of these teams practically never play in the championship game.
Dang.
But some of these teams have had multiple appearances in their conference's championship.
We're really
If a team has many conference championship appearances, that at least means they are sometimes making deep playoff runs.
Sure.
Playoff record. This went off of each team's playoff series record.
Dude, I know this is just like a hazard of the job or whatever, but it must suck so bad to have this be like a part of your job. Just this picture is taken of you without your consent, and it's just on every magazine in America, right? Look what my boy did to Leonard. Poor Leonard. Not Lenny!
Playoff
He
appearance
gave me a
percentage.
boo-boo.
Even though I said it's not good for a team to always lose in the first round of the playoffs, making the playoffs is still important.
I guess
Now,
so.
I admit this factor heavily weighs against MLB teams, since their postseason used to have only 8 and sometimes only 4 teams that made it. Whereas the
Damn.
NBA has always had 16 teams that make the
That's
playoffs. Only 4.
brutal.
And finally, win-loss record. When all else fails, is the team even winning games? None of these teams win a lot, but some of them do win a lot more often than others.
That's why I thought the Chargers were good. I thought they had like one good season recently.
With all these factors considered, I ranked all the remaining 19 teams for the 4 different categories, and I took their average ranks and sorted them. What I got was not all that surprising. The Titans and Chargers were towards the top of the list,
Right.
which made sense considering they've had their moments but just haven't been able to ever fully put it together. I didn't want to look just at the
Did anybody, I can't show it on stream, did anybody see that one announcer messing up the Pride helmet call? Oh, that guy, he said a slur, but he meant to say Pride flag, but he made a oopsie completely by accident. But in the clip, he said it, and then there's like a 30-second silence after. Like, oh. Right.
There are a few more teams that I want to get rid of. Grizzlies and Pelicans are historically not good, and
Pelicans? This is like the 6th time I've heard about the Pelicans on the stream, and I'm always like, they did not name their team that. Like a bird. My high school was the Wildcats, which I thought was like every team ever. Every Little League team is the fucking Wildcats. The High School Musical are the Wildcats. It's just, there's a Simpsons joke about both teams being named the Wildcats. Like, it's just every fucking school.
However, both of these teams make the playoffs more often than other NBA teams that are left. Neither of these teams will be considered. The Arizona Coyotes had a case as the worst team in
they
NHL.
got a cool-ass
The key
logo.
word
Let 'em
being
live.
had, because now Arizona doesn't have a hockey team. Instead, it's the Utah Hockey Club.
Cool!
For that reason alone, I feel like giving them sympathy and not considering them for the worst.
Oh, man.
I won't go into reasons for all of
Utah Mammoth now? Wait, really? Oh, I kind of fuck with that. Shit look like Loxodont. Wait a minute. Wait, did they make the Loxodont skin off? That's crazy. That's Loxodont. I fuck with a team name that is not like a great many thing, but one thing. Like a Jazz. Heat? I love a Heat. Yes. Magic? Pretty cool. A singular duck? The Mighty Duck. Oh shit, that's a big duck. Watch out.
I have 4 teams left that I'm going to make a case for being the worst in American sports. But before I name the worst teams, I want to give a quick disclaimer. These teams are objectively bad teams, and at the end of the day, deciding on which team is the worst out of all of them is my opinion. You can make a case for any of the remaining teams to be the worst, and I really wouldn't argue against you.
Who are the Blue Jackets? I've never heard of that. Ohio? I've never heard of this team in my life. Why do people still go to sporting events in ass cities? I feel like it would bum me out. We always lose every time. What else are you going to do? Go to the different team. Well, if you're in Ohio, you're fucked. Listen, I get the appeal of sports games, but I feel like you need one good team.
Without further ado, let's begin with the first team.
Yeah! These guys.
The Blue Jackets played their first season in 2001 and finished with only 71 points and 28 wins. A team struggling in their first season is not uncommon, but the Blue Jackets would remain bad for years. The team would not make the playoffs again until 2014, in which they, once again, lost in the first round. The second playoff series that they won was during the 2020 COVID season, in which more teams than usual made the playoffs, and it helped the Blue Jackets win a series for the second time in the franchise's history.
Did they open up the bracket like, that's it, everybody in? Mickey Mouse playoffs? That's what I'm saying. Why do you get a bonus
have
round?
Not been great for the team so far, but as it stands right now, they are historically the worst team in the NHL, and possibly the worst in American sports. It would be much worse if they were around for over 50 years and had nothing to show for it. All while they had to watch their crosstown rivals surpass them in every single
Clippers?
way.
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, I would play NBA Jam, and I'd be like, damn, the Lakers are good. Wait, there's another LA team? Why do they get 2? Why is it like a joke? One of them are good. It was the same with like Yankees and the Mets to me. Like, I'm not saying the Mets are bad or whatever, but like the other side is Yankees. Why do you get 2 teams?
The little brother of Los Angeles. The team was not very successful after their initial streak of making the playoffs.
Dude, 70s jerseys are awesome. Those shits are short. Is this what they look like now? Maybe it's just the image quality. Something about this, like, I fuck with this. I love a 70s look.
It would take until the 2006 season for the team to make the playoffs and win their first playoff series in 50 years. Throughout this time, the Clippers have had to watch as the Lakers became one of the greatest teams in the NBA. While the Lakers continued to win multiple championships in different eras of the NBA, the Clippers hadn't even made it to the conference finals once.
Pro is pogging. This
series
is,
in 50
I don't
years.
know if if there could ever be a better feeling on the planet. You are surrounded in your city and home. You just did the sickest thing in your life, and everybody saw it.
As the Lakers
like in front of all of your peers. Like, this is, I genuinely, like, this level of joy, I don't think you will ever feel it. The level of dopamine in your brain, he's chasing this high the rest of his life. Getting a Twitch Prime feels better. I think maybe using your Twitch Prime feels better. Or passing it along to another Twitch chatter with a gift sub. That might, dude, giving is a big deal.
But with the COVID pandemic happening, the NBA playoffs were gonna be weird. At first, with the COVID pandemic happening, the NBA...
Wow, what an image. That's crazy. Whole new game, I'll say. Like, I've seen the Thunderdome in pro wrestling because that's what was happening around that time. Yeah, so, like, it was the same thing, but they didn't have, like, the green screen, so it was just, like, you had a view of the thing or whatever. How did nobody, like, expose themselves on the camera, right? I guess there might have been legal action and you probably signed a waiver, but like I feel like it'd be very easy to do, right?
The Clippers have been a consistent standard of failure in American sports.
Jeez.
But if we want to find one that's even more disappointing, we'll have to travel north. The Seattle Mariners played their first season in 1977. It would take until 1995 for the team to make the postseason for the first time.
God damn.
Nearly 20 years passed before
years.
they ever made it to the postseason.
They had A-Rod? How are they not winning? I thought he was really good.
In 2001, the team was
One guy can't win games. Tell that to Tom fucking Brady, bro.
historically great, winning 116 games, which is a record that has not
Tell that to Mewtwo King and Brawl doubles. He do it.
been broken since.
That's different. Shut up.
This was their time. They were going to go to the World Series and win it all. The Mariners won their first round matchup, and when they got to the ALCS, they lost again to the New York Yankees.
By a lot. Oh my God. Why even make noise? 2 outs, top of the ninth. Give up.
It would take them 20 years for them to make the postseason again, which is one of the worst droughts in MLB history. The Mariners will have a good chance to make the postseason again this year, but even still, they might just be the worst sports team in America.
But they're not, because who's number one?
There's still one more team that I think is even worse than all of the teams that I just mentioned. A team that has been so bad throughout its history that they are often ignored by everyone else. This team has the honor, or rather the disgrace,
It's got to be the
of
Rockies,
being my
right?
pick for
Is
the
it the
worst sports
Rockies?
team
Is the Rockies,
in America.
right? Is the Rocky? Oh. The Cards?
The Arizona
Let's go, Cardinals! I thought they had a season recently.
Cardinals are a
Right?
sum of all the bad parts of a sports team.
Oh.
If you took the bad season records of the Columbus Blue Jackets, the lack of playoff wins of the Los Angeles Clippers,
That was
and the postseason droughts
2008?
of the
It
Seattle
might have
Mariners,
been.
you would get the Arizona Cardinals. In 1943,
Got it.
the team went 0-10, and they're one of the only teams in the NFL to have a season without winning a single game. After winning the championship, the team did not make the playoffs once during the 1950s.
Damn.
The team eventually moved to St. Louis in 1960. Nothing changed with the move. The Cardinals continued to have losing records and miss the playoffs. The Cardinals finally made the playoffs again in 1982, a season that saw a huge players' strike, and the team finished with a record of 5-4. They would lose.
Damn.
It took until 1998 for them to make the playoffs again, in which the team finally won a playoff game. They would end up losing their next game in the divisional round.
Right, the Vikings were good, and I know that because of NFL 2K1 with Randy Moss.
They'll go through long stretches of losing seasons, eventually have a year or two of success and make the playoffs, lose in the first or second round of the playoffs, and go back to having losing seasons.
Damn.
Arizona had their chance to change this narrative forever. In 2008, the team won their division with a 10-6 record and were the 4th seed in the playoffs.
Believe in now. Okay. Right?
The team found themselves in the Super Bowl.
Please let us have this. Holding up the thing. We're gonna win, man. He looks like he's crying. We're gonna win. I know we're gonna win. Please.
The Cardinals found themselves down 20-7 entering the 4th quarter, and all hope looked lost.
Oh.
But the team started coming back. Down by 4 points, quarterback Kurt Warner found star wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald over the middle, and Larry took off running.
Oh.
Call it luck. Call it a great play. Call it an intervention from God. Whatever it was, the Arizona Cardinals found themselves 2 minutes and 37 seconds away from winning the Super Bowl. Decades of frustration would finally come to an end.
I think I remember hearing about this, but I don't remember how exactly.
All the Cardinals needed to do was get a stop on defense, and they were champions. But the defense wasn't stopping Pittsburgh. The Steelers were marching down the field, and before you knew it, they were only 10 yards away from scoring a touchdown. I think you all know what happened next. The Cardinals have not made it back to the Super Bowl since. Instead of ending their legacy of failure and pain, the Super Bowl loss became their defining moment.
That is such a bummer. One of the best catches ever. Triple coverage? They're definitely going to throw it to that guy. I thought he was out. Oh, no, he didn't jump. I thought he jumped, but no, he got his tippy toes. That's crazy. I would have thrown a flag down. His ass did not get that. That is crazy. He's just, yo! The ref's popping off in front of him. Yo! You just won the Super Bowl!
The Cardinals have not made it back to the Super Bowl
Hooray!
since.
The ref just going, hooray!
The team has struggled to make the playoffs,
so
let alone
sad.
win any sort of games in the postseason. All the losing seasons have just stacked on each other. The few playoff appearances have ended in nothing. And when they had their one shot at glory, the team could not get it done.
Damn.
This is why I feel confident in saying that the Arizona Cardinals are the worst American sports team.
Bro, I would be bummed out watching this. If I was an Arizona Cardinal, this would make me so sad. Their quarterback right now was on FaZe Clan. A statistical analysis of Kyler Murray's performance on double XP weekends. Kyler Murray's performance is worse in all categories. This guy loves God.